Happy Monday, everybody. It is Coach V here, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Made New Monday. So, every Monday we talk about the topic of the podcast. So, this week's podcast episode is called You Have the Advantage. And so I hope that if you are not listening to Transformative Talk with Coach V, that you start today. And not only that, but you'll go back and catch season 1 and get yourself caught up to today's episode, again, which is called You Have the Advantage. You can find it on Spotify or Anchor. Again, it's Transformative Talk with Coach V. And every week we talk about a different topic that hopefully is empowering you, inspiring you, and transforming your mindset. That's what this podcast is all about. And so on this week's episode, we're talking about what having the advantage means and redefining what it means to have the advantage. A lot of times we look at having the advantage in the natural sense of our connections, the ability to have influence based on material things that we have. And we think that that type of stature is giving us the advantage in certain situations. And as I was studying and just researching and preparing for this particular podcast, God just revealed to me that it's not about having the advantage, but being in position, which led to the transformative thought for the week, that I will focus more on getting in position versus having the advantage. I will focus more on getting in position versus getting the advantage. Let us be honest. Probably for most of us, myself included, when we get in our flesh, we're trying to figure out what it is we can do. Who do we need to talk to? What room do I need to be in? Who do I need to get to know? What connections do I need to make to give myself the advantage, to put myself in a better position to get things, attain things, status, promotions, whatever. There's absolutely nothing wrong with making connections. There's absolutely nothing wrong with networking and getting to know people and learning from them. They may have experiences that you don't have. You may have experiences they don't have. So I think it's a wonderful thing to make connections and be able to collaborate and positively influence one another. However, I am of the belief that it is so much easier and so much better to allow God to make those connections for you. Let Him do those things for you. Be mindful to allow Him to speak to you. Be open, be in a place, be in position to be open to His suggestions, to follow His instructions, do what He says to the letter to get yourself properly positioned. So when those opportunities do come, that you will know that that is a divine connection, that God has touched that, and it was meant for it to be what it needs to be for where God desires to take you, and know that you can also have influence on that person because you're pushing them. So it's like iron sharpening iron. You're being able to make those connections and meet people is because you're properly positioned. You are in the place that you need to be when you need to be there to meet the person or have the particular thing happen that's meant to happen. So therefore, when you are allowing God to be a part of your process, when you're seeking Him in everything as it pertains to your family, to your marriage, to relationships, to your job, to your business, when God is at the center of that, when He is the top priority, you're already properly positioned. You're in the right position, and guess what? Then you have the advantage because you're depending and relying and trusting solely on God to do only the things that he can do. Our job is just to follow his instructions and to be fearless and be bold and go after the things that God has already set up for us. He already knows what doors he's going to open for us. He already knows the people that we're going to meet and encounter and connect to. He already knows those things. So our job is just to be faithful and obedient to the instructions, knowing that we have the advantage because, first of all, we're his children. And he wants nothing but good for us. And he has all of these wonderful things stored up for us. We waste it because we spend so much time trying to do it for ourselves. We spend so much time trying to strategize and come up with plans and do things and do what other people are doing. And it may not be suited for us to do things in the way that they do things. I know with my own business, I'm learning more to be fearless and bold, but that's because I've been um, very intentional about seeking God on the direction that He wants. Made New LLC, Transformative Talk, my Made New Mondays. What direction does He want this to go in? How does He want to use this for His glory? So He's been faithful to bring the right people in my life to push me, to challenge me. And so I don't do the things that maybe other people do that may be suitable for themselves and for their businesses because that may not be the direction that God wants me to go in. So I got to be faithful to listen to Him and follow His instructions. And when I do that, I have the advantage. And then He gets the glory out of everything that I do because he is at the top. He's where he's supposed to be. He's at the top. He's downloading all these things to me. So I always have the advantage. I don't have to worry. I don't have to fear. I don't have to doubt. I don't have to try to formulate it or make it up for myself because he is orchestrating everything the way that it needs to be. And like I said before, I know there have been many times that I have tried to figure it out for myself. I've tried to force things that didn't work. I spent a lot of time chasing my own tail because I was trying to give myself the advantage instead of stepping back and just saying, look, this is an idea that you gave me, God. So I need you to speak to me and tell me how you want this to be, how you desire to get the glory out of this, how you desire to do the work through me. And once I realized that, I knew that I had a great advantage because I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to stress. I didn't have to try to figure it out. I just simply had to obey. I simply had to follow the instructions as God gave them to me. I simply had to do the things that God desired me to do. And that even included, dealing with past hurt and disappointments. It meant that I had to step outside of my comfort zone and do things that I probably ordinarily wouldn't have done. But because God has given me a boldness, I can sit here and do these Made New Mondays. I can sit and record these podcasts and do them the way that God desires them to be done. So I always have the advantage because I have Him on my side. And because I'm allowing myself to be used by Him, then it provides a blueprint for others to be bold, to be fearless, to be empowered, to be inspired, and to transform their mindset and realize that they have the advantage as long as they have God. So it's a great place to be in. It's a comforting, warm place to be in, knowing that He is getting to do all these great things through me because I'm allowing Him to speak. I'm not trying to figure it out. I know that where God has given the vision, He's going to provide everything that I need to make sure that that comes to fruition. And so I hope that you will listen to this week's podcast, Transformative Talk with Coach V, as we talk about you have the advantage, and that you will have your journal, that you'll have your pen, that you'll write down the transformative thought, that you'll write down the transformative truths, and that you'll just take some time to meditate and really reflect on those things and see how you can begin to now implement these things into your life to where you truly have the advantage and that you can walk in that empowered place in your life. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Made New Monday. I would love to connect with you guys. You can follow me on Instagram at I am made new, on my Facebook page made new, comma LLC. And I love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions or anything that you would just love to share with me, you can send me an email, made new llc at yahoo.com. And I hope that you'll join me again on next Monday for another Made New Monday, and catch that podcast, Transformative Talk with Coach V, on Spotify or Anchor. Remember, today is a great day to be made new, and I am always, always rooting for you. I'll talk to you